Why did Mr. Chang choose to use our seeding machine initially?
Labor shortage.
Labor shortage?
After you scatter the seeds, there's no one to help with thinning. Without anyone to thin the seedlings, we have to do it selectively, sowing mustard greens or Chinese cabbage that don't need thinning. Because it's hard to hire workers now. Yes, that's why we decided to try using this seeding machine.
Mr. Chang, have you used any other machines before?
No, I haven't.
No, have you only used our machine?
I have heard about it from others. I heard, but the results were poor.
Before you started using the seeding machine, did you face any difficulties when farming?
Yes. I scattered the crop with no help thinning. No labor for thinning, so I discarded the crop. No time to thin the seedlings after sowing. So, it became a situation where sometimes it's not up to me to decide what crops to sow. I can only sow seeds when workers are available.
This way, the harvest will be restricted.
Yes. Can't find workers. This problem isn't just mine. Everyone is facing it.
Did you encounter any problems when you first used our seeding machine, and how did you resolve them?
At the beginning, after sowing the seeds with the seeding machine, I covered them with soil. But after covering the seeds with soil, I wasn't very satisfied with the germination rate. Later, I improved it by not covering the soil. Then, when it rains, I have to watch the weather closely. If the weather is very hot, I add more water. Later, this problem was resolved.
How about the germination rate?
Germination is over 90% now. It's always over 90% now after many tries.
How much labor can our seeding machine save? How did you find the most labor-saving method? Because this planting method is quite different from the conventional planting methods.
The first point is that, having used the seeding machine, the biggest cost-saving aspect is that I don't need to thin the seedlings. Thinning labor is saved. No need to worry about thinning labor for this crop. Another point is that the speed of harvesting is faster. These two aspects can save a lot of labor. It saves labor costs for harvesting and thinning seedlings, both of these. But some people might say, compared to the traditional method of scattering seeds and hiring workers for thinning, which option using our seed granulation would be more cost-effective? Actually, it depends on what type of crops you're growing. It depends on each person's perspective. When it comes to using the seeding machine first, you don't need to thin the seedlings. The crops are uniform and healthy. Crops grow more evenly. The only task left is harvesting. Labor costs are reduced as the uniform crops make harvesting faster and more efficient. If not harvested on time, saving is useless. Crops must be harvestable for profit. Oh, you mean, is it expensive? Workers aren't cheap nowadays either. True, workers aren't cheap now. I personally feel that the difference isn't much. But I no longer have to be limited by the availability of workers. I sow and care for the crops, then hire help for harvest. No thinning needed anymore.
So, it saves a lot of labor.
Because of the thinning issue, it restricts when I can apply fertilizers. Before, I fertilized after thinning. Now, no need for that no thinning.
After using the seeding machine, here are my thoughts I'd like to share with everyone.
Seeder. Because, during this period, gradually, as of now, everything runs smoothly and efficiently. The seeder is now easy to use. The seeding machine is getting lighter. It's getting wider and simpler. Another thing is that, it's certain that, no thinning needed as crops grow. And for harvesting the crops are uniform with little size variation. The harvest is also better. Many farmers have already inquired about it. Many farmers have asked, saying that initially, everyone knew the soil wasn't covered. After the first few times, I no longer need to hire for thinning.
Have many people asked about it?
Yes, thinning seedlings is different now. It's hard to find thinning workers now. No replacements. Young workers from Vietnam. They come. Not all are very skilled though. You have to, no matter what. With this seeder, I no longer need to thin. This seeder removes thinning.
How much seed can be saved when comparing the use of seed pellets to traditional broadcasting with raw seeds?
At least 1/3 can be saved. Every time I calculate it. I used to calculate it every time. Let's use 1 acre as an example. The vegetables can cover 3 to 4 acres. It definitely covers more than 3 acres. I've even saved money on vegetable seeds. Lotus leaf seeds, 1K, 2K. That way, I can save over $3,000 on seed costs. So, it's really economical this way.